Hello, we are going to be talking about ordering decimals today. So go ahead and get your math notebooks open and make a new page and title it Ordering Decimals, just like you see right here. Once you get that written down, I want you to go ahead and write down the I can statement right underneath the title. So our I can statement is, I can understand and explain the value of place value digits. I'll give you a second to write that. What that means is, by the time we're all finished with all this place value, the I can is something that you should be able to say that you can do and actually show that you can do. Let's start out by reviewing place value because that's always a good place to start. So we know that if the whole number names, we start with ones. Go ahead and say it with me, nice and loud. Tens, then hundreds, and then thousands, and then we continue up 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. But let's go ahead and focus on the decimal part since that's what we're working on today. We have our decimal point, which we read as and. Remember that, we always say and. Tenths, then hundredths, then thousandths. We're going to stop at thousandths. That's as far as we are going to go in 5th grade for decimal place value names. So as long as you can get tenths, hundredths, and thousandths and recognize and be able to understand what those mean, you'll be golden. So let's talk about ordering. Ordering is not like ordering your favorite meal from a restaurant. It is from greatest to least or least to greatest. If you need help remembering that, please go ahead and write those words down. Greatest to least and then least to greatest. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and write in your notebooks. First, you can do number 1, however you want to do your steps, but this is the first step that we use when we are ordering decimals. You're going to look at each place value to see which is the greatest number, which has the most worth. So if you look at these 3 numbers, they all have a 1 in the ones column. I'm looking on the left-hand side of the decimal. That's the biggest place value number because remember, decimals are all parts of a number. They're less than one whole number. So here we have ones. That's our greatest number. We're going to start there and see 1, 1, 1 and compare those. Okay, step number 2. So go ahead and write step 2. Check the directions to see if it is from greatest to least or least to greatest. This is a very important step because this is where we can get caught up and actually get the answer wrong if we're not reading very carefully. I'll give you a second to write those directions down. In our directions here, it says order the numbers from, and I underlined, greatest to least. So we're going to start with the greatest number and then move to the least number. Step 3, put the numbers in the correct order. That's it. 3 easy steps. So go ahead and pause the video or take a minute and write those directions down right here. Put the numbers in the correct order. Gave you a little hint here. Order the numbers from greatest to least is what we said. So our greatest number is going to be, we have 1, 1, 1, so far they're all the same. Then we move to the next highest place value, which would be the tenths column. This has a 3, this has a 4, this has a 0, which is the greatest number, and it's this, 1 and 422 thousandths. Okay, so I think I did not follow directions. Does anybody see the mistake that I made? What did I end up doing? If you said I ordered them from least to greatest, then bonus points for you. I put the greatest number at the end. This number should be up here. So greatest to least. Let's practice this one together. Okay, so this time we're going to look at step 1 and see our numbers. Okay, we'll just take a look at them. I don't have a ones place, so I know that my first place value I'm going to go to is going to be the tenths column. Then, step 2, I need to look at the directions. This says from least to greatest. Then step 3 is to actually write the numbers down. So I'm going to look, I have tenths, tenths, tenths. Here we have a 0, a 2, and a 2. So far, which one is the least number? Which is worth the least? 0. So there I have. That's my least number. And I have 45 thousandths is how we read this number. There's nothing in the tenths column, 45, and it ends in the thousandths place. Then we're going to look at the last two numbers that we have to deal with. Which one is the least? 2 and 2 are the same, so I'm going to move to the hundredths place. 1 and 0. Which one is the least? 0. So 203 thousandths is my decimal. And then lastly, I'm left with 210 thousandths. These are ordered from least to greatest. All right, so hopefully you feel like you're pretty good at this. I'm going to give you a chance to do problem check number 1. So you can write PC1 on your notes and then write the problem and the answer down in your notebook. Order the numbers from least to greatest. Go ahead and pause the video now and give yourself enough time to work it through. Problem check number 2. Go ahead and put PC2 or problem 2, whatever works for you in your notebook. Order the numbers from greatest to least. Again, go ahead and pause and make sure you have time to do the problem. Do it all the way through. And if you would like a challenge problem, I encourage everybody to go ahead and try it because there's no points off if you get it incorrect. Order the numbers from greatest to least. Go ahead and pause the video while you work that through now. Here are the answers. If you're not ready, go back and pause. Problem check number 1. We should have 302 thousandths, followed by 593 thousandths, and then lastly 1 and 356 thousandths. Problem check number 2. 5 and 20 hundredths, 4 and 91 hundredths, 4 and 35 hundredths. And then the challenge. From greatest to least, we have 1 and 493 thousandths, 4 tenths, and 39 hundredths. Remember, if you're going in that place value order, you start with the biggest place value, what's worth the most, and the ones is going to be the biggest place value. So 1 definitely goes here. I like to line up my decimals so that I can make sure I'm comparing all the right place values. Then we go to the tenths, 4, 4, and 3. I know that 3 is the least, so I'm going to put that at the bottom. And then here we talked about this with our comparing decimals. There's nothing here what holds the place of nothing. It should be a 0. That doesn't change the value of that number, but 0 is definitely less than 9, so that'll give you your answer. Okay, if you are not sure about any of those problems, or if you missed one problem check, please go back and try watching the video again. Make sure you're taking good notes.